Hey, what's up, everybody? So this is Stocks for Real. I've been a little MIA, under the weather. My voice still isn't back. But again, I think I've told you guys this in the past. I don't make videos just to make videos. This isn't what this channel is about yet. It's about me going on my journey and then sharing with you guys like my experiences and things and tools and things of that nature that works for me. And just keeping y'all up to date with what's going on, with the hope of making it to where I want to be, so then I can become a better mentor or teacher, to help somebody else or help anybody get to where they want to be faster, if possible. But anyway, why am I making this video? The reason for this video is, of course, none other than SOFI. Okay. There's a lot of SOFI talk out there. There's a lot of frustration because the stock ain't moving, right? It's not moving. What are you supposed to do, right? It's a manipulated stock. It has all this other stuff that's going on, but we're going to get into it, right? I'm going to dive into the technicals. I'm going to dive into the pros. I'm going to dive into the cons. And then I'm going to dive into what my plan is with the stock, and then where I see it going, and the near term and the short and the long term. Okay, so maybe this will shed some light as far as some of those things for some of you. If you guys are still new to the stock and new to the company overall, there's plenty of YouTubers out there that are going over the intricacies of banks and the technology behind what SoFi is doing and how it's just not a bank, and how it's being tagged as the what would you call it? The AWS of fintech, fintech essentially of banking. So anyway, this is the quick intro. This is not financial advice. It's not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell SoFi or any stock that I ever talk about. This is just knowledge that I'm putting out there because it's something that I looked into and I figured maybe somebody else didn't see this, or maybe maybe somebody's looking for this information. And if I already did the research, why should I keep it to myself, right? And then by me talking about it, I actually gain a little bit more clarity myself from hearing me talk it out loud. Okay, so stay tuned. This is just an intro. We're gonna dive right into some technicals and pros and cons and all that stuff, right? So see you in a bit. Hey, what's up, everybody? So let's just dive right into it. Let's start with the pros and the cons. So we're talking about SoFi, right? So let's talk about it. Pros, chicken scratch right now, but you'll catch the drift, right? So first off, we got positive earnings, right? We got the NBA deal, sponsorship, right? We got the TGL league with Tiger Woods, right? We got Zelle being added to the platform. We got insider buying. All right, Anthony Noto on 5-3 drop some bucks, right? And then we got institutional buying. Right? You got Kathy Woods buying up all day. You got BlackRock or Vanguard. I think it was Vanguard recently. So we got all that going on for us. Also, we got ranked top 5 banks. Okay. And then we have some bullish patterns if you may not know, but we're going to cover those in just a bit. Okay. So what else we got going on? So those are the positives. Let's go to another layer. Let's hide that. Let's go into the cons. Cons. It don't move, right? It's not doing much for us, right? The immediate view of the technicals is you don't know what to think. It's trading kind of sideways, but we're seeing a little bit more bearish action, a lot more suppression than we're seeing any type of upward movement. So we can just say there's a negative case on the technicals. Okay. News. Is there any negative news right now going on with SoFi? Well, let's say if we're thinking about like the most recent earnings, it's the unknown of their tech platform, right? It's the unknown of their tech platform, and then also them guiding down or lower for earnings for the next quarter. So for Q3, right? Despite SoFi guiding higher for the year, the media or the narrative is that SoFi is sandbagging, which they are. They continuously sandbag, but to their defense, they're doing this because the economic conditions are just uncertain. So they rather under promise and over deliver versus over promise and under deliver. But in this situation with SoFi, is damned if you do, damned if you don't. They can say, hey, we're going to crush it. We're going to do, we'll do 650 million in revenue, right, in Q3. And then they'll find something wrong. They'll still say that this tech platform is the unknown, and that's why the stock isn't going anywhere, right? So it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. This is an NA. I'm still stone cold sober, 310 days. If you don't know, and if you like NAs, this is Athletic. It's a pretty good one. Another one's Untitled, just so you know. I like IPAs. I'm not a light beer guy, so it was nice to find something like that. And it's vegan. I don't know if that matters to y'all, but anyway. So that's another con. Okay, so now we got a big con is the retail versus institution ownership, right? Retail investors are in control, essentially. They are the majority shareholders of SoFi. So that's kind of our crutch, right? It's kind of like our Achilles heel. We're like our own worst enemies because we've bought up so much SoFi, because we understand the company, we understand the fundamentals, we like what they're about. They're not just a bank. If they were just a bank, then we just invest in Citi or JP Morgan or Bank of America or whatever. But SoFi is different. They're more than a bank. They're a tech platform, and there's innovation there. They're doing things differently, right? They're getting away from the old school methods of banking, but they're also selling services to other banks and other platforms that helps with their financial situation. Okay, and then on top of that, their credit card is awesome. So pretty straightforward, 3% back when you're using SoFi Travel. I think it's like 2% on everyday purchases, but I use a SoFi credit card for everything. Even my bills is automated, and then I just pay it off at the end of the month, and I'm just stacking it up. Okay, so if you are interested, let me know, and I'll send you the link. But if I go into the pros, I can definitely dive into the product. But I think we'll say that for another video, because I use a lot of SoFi products, and I think it's important for people to understand what all is offered with that, because too many people, especially a lot of new retail investors, they're probably just seeing SoFi at face value, and they're just saying, hey, it's a bank and it has good fundamentals, but they don't know much about everything they're offered, because they're probably not fully integrated into that ecosystem. But I am. I've been in since 2021, and pretty much majority of my money is going to SoFi at this moment. But anyway, let me mute my phone. But as far as cons go, there we are. Retail investors own more the institutions. And that's a big issue, right? Especially if we're trying to get the stock to move higher. Who's gonna pump it, right? We're waiting for that big well to come in, to pretty much flip the bird to the short sellers and send us to the moon, right? Like, I don't like to use the moon, target, rocket, whatever. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, yeah, send us up. So anyway, what's another con? Well, legacy banks, right? Legacy banks and our shorts, right? So SoFi is getting into, or has gotten into, a space where they're literally still in market share from these brick and mortar banks that we are familiar with, the ones that want to charge you 30% for overdraft charges. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's just, I moved away from legacy banks a long time ago. I think the last bank, I'm not even gonna name drop them, okay? But I moved away from a long time ago, and then I moved into a credit union, okay, because they just seemed a little bit more people friendly, right? And now here I am with SoFi. I still have my what do you call it? My the other bank, right? But either which way, SoFi is moving into their space and they're digging into their pockets. Now they don't seem like they are a big player. They are a minnow right now in a shark full of oceans, or an ocean full of sharks, right? But that's the problem, because eventually a minnow, or let's say you just start off as a small piece of bacteria, right? In evolution, just think about evolution and how something like a microscopic like being started as like pretty much nothing, then ate and grew and ate and grew and just started to evolve. Um, that's kind of what SoFi is. And then I think the big banks and the shorts right now, they see this. They see what SoFi is doing. And they know that right now, like, they really can't touch what they're doing, like, nor do they really want to. Like the legacy banks, they are all about taking your money and keeping it and not giving anything back. You know, or if they are, it's a minuscule amount, like 0.00004% is what you're probably getting as a return on your interest for them holding your money. Yeah, see, banks have now graduated or evolved to this giant that pretty much is in this position where they feel like we need them more than they need us, right? And that's pretty much like shitting on the little guy, right? And then SoFi, right, is in that position where they understand the importance of our money. They need our money to lend it out and then actually make money off of it, right? So what do? They give us a 4.6% APY on our money that's held in our savings. And then they also have a nice vault system where you can stash money too that also pays up to 4.6%. So the legacy banks won't do that. They're too big to fail. They're too big to lose a bunch of like clients or whatnot, So and pretty much if one fails, the other one just eats the other one up, and it's just the way it is. So anyway, that's what we are. The short sellers, they understand this, and that is also why SoFi has been held and being suppressed right now. So anyway, so that's that. Right. Again, I can't say with this with certainty. I'm only speaking from what I see. I'm not trying to get sued. I'm not suggesting that this is true. I am just speaking from my observations and then my research. As far as the validity of anything that I say, I leave that up to you to do your research and verify that and make your own decisions on whether or not you want to point the finger or invest in whoever. Okay, so again, innocent bystander, just a guy on YouTube giving you what I see, what the knowledge is that I'm bringing in, okay, or soaking up from the web. Okay, so you got all this stuff. I'll dive into the next earnings and things of that nature and what I expect. But first, I really want to get into the technicals, okay? So I'm going to pause it right here. I'm going to switch over to my trading view, and then I'm going to give you guys a look of what I see that maybe a lot of other people were not seeing. And then I'm also probably going to just dive in a little bit because I haven't done some things, so you might see me working the technicals just a little bit, just to gain a little bit more clarity. But hopefully most of the legwork is done, and then this gives you some type of clarity as well, right? So that being said, I'm just going to pause this and then start again. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back. So, of course, we are talking about the technicals right now, right? The most boring thing that we've seen in the past week or however long looking at SoFi. We'll see it pop and then we die. We see it pop, then we die. Now we're dead, right? Like, we're just sitting here now. But there's some light here, okay? And that's what I'm going to dive into. And I'm not a guy that's going to sit here and be like wishful thinking that, the stock is going to move in my way. I like to really have an unbiased approach when it comes to the technicals. That's why if I ever see somebody boosting SoFi like beyond reason, I'm the first person to show them the bear case, okay? Because it is what it is. At the end of the day, SoFi has proven that they could do everything right, but go nowhere, right? It's kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? So here we are, right? So I put out, because I lost my voice, I put out some of the technicals that I was going to speak to. And please, if you haven't seen that, go to Instagram. IG is at Stocks for Rel, and then you can go over that and see what I had there previously. I have since then changed some things. That does not negate what I had posted, but I had to revise some things so I can talk a little bit more some things in this video. So I'm going to mention some things that's reflective of the information I posted on IG, and if you know, you know. But anyway, here we go, right? So looking at this, right? First off, you see this orange line right here? This orange line is pretty much the neckline of what we had when we were at a double top, okay? So we had a double top, and then we broke under that double top. That's when we had earnings. We spiked, and then we fell down to, I want to say, 640s or something like that, 640s, 650s, right? And everybody was losing their minds, right? Which makes total sense because, like, it doesn't make sense. But either way, whatever. Anyway, that's the neckline. So since that day, from 647 or 657, whatever that number was, we've since come back up and reestablished some strength above 695. Now, on May 3rd, like last week, Anthony Noto had receipts of buying, I think, what was it, 28,000 shares or something like that, of SoFi. I can't remember. I just know it was a lot, but it was at pretty much at this very, very point, as if he knew that that was the bottom, or he knew that that's where the support was. So anyway, Anthony Noto bought at 695 or 690s, really close to that level, right? But as you can see, starting here at May 6th, we had this big green candle, right? And then we kind of traded sideways a little bit, and then came crashing down. And of course, like, you're seeing what I'm seeing, okay? Now, big green candle here, right here. So when we see that, we go to the next red bar to the left, and then that's going to give us our demand. Okay, so let's just do that because I don't have it here. So my demand zone. Okay, so as you can see, we are living above this demand zone. That's good. That's strength. That's where our buyers are. It's supporting us. It's stopping us from falling back under 695. Since we've reestablished above 695, and then we've also maintained strength above this demand zone, we're choppy, trading sideways essentially, but our EMA is towards the upside, right? We have this OG opening gap right here, okay? So we're starting to see little signs of us moving forward. So look, even if we take this big green bar right here, next red bar over is again another demand zone, essentially. So we can do that here. So now we're looking to maintain strength above 703. You see that? Okay. So, and look where our EMA is, right? 704 right now. So right now we're just looking to maintain strength above that. The problem is that, as you can see, we're in between our MA, our moving average, and then our VWAP. Okay, so that's like a no-fly zone. That's where things can be choppy. That's like where you don't know if you're in a bullish or bearish position. It's like the most dangerous place to trade. And if you know, you got caught up in it before. I guarantee it, because we all do. We all have. So anyway. But as you can see, we're also in between this red line, right? This red box right here, which is a supply zone. So obviously, it's the zone in which we're seeing a lot of selling pressure, right? How can we identify that? Well, this one, that sense has changed. Okay. Wow. So if we're looking more near term, we're looking at this guy as a new supply. We'll chart the 1 hour. I'm on the 1 hour, okay? So I'm back in my box. And then this right here, oops, would be my supply, my newer supply zone here. Right, but look, we're breaking through that. There's a lot of chop right here, but we're trying to break through, but we're not out of the woods yet. So once we get past this, we still have to retake this VWAP at 710, and then we have to break above the 715 and find strength above right here at 718. Okay, so anyway. Let's see here. That is correct. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this box, though, because this, for me, it's not really valid anymore. So that's what we have in the immediate zone right now for SOFI. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Now, I don't want to get into where we're going, like, past this point, because we're not there. SOFI hasn't shown any strength or any signs that it's about to go on the rocket, but that's what I'm here for. Okay, so before we go into anything, I also want to bring you down to this area. Now, if you don't have this on your chart, this right here, this is your RVOL. Okay, and pretty much tells you the amount of volatility or like price action. Essentially, it helps you with price action. So when this number right here is high, this where it says 0.056, if it's over 1, I like to trade over 2, but if it's over 1, that means that there's a lot of momentum, right, in that direction or within that candle, right? And then also, so then you see this over here. So that's the blue line. So if this is blue, I have it set for 2. So over 2, that means that we're either on a rocket up or a rocket down. There's a ton of sellers or a ton of buyers, right? And then this right here, right, this red line, this is the ATR. This I want to say it's actual true range, if I'm not mistaken, but this tells me the price range in which the bars are trading in with on average. So on SOFI, it's 0.03 cents essentially. So it's SOFI is a bad example to use this for. I don't really use it much, but I do pay attention to RVOL quite a bit, and you can tell when SoFi is moving pretty strong or has a lot of buyers or sellers coming in, because this number, it goes to sleep real quick. 0.05, there's not a lot of stocks out there, like common, like daily traded stocks that are below 0.2 or 0.3 at any given time. So with SoFi at 0.05, that means that it literally dies and goes to sleep. That's just what it is. And as you move further over, as we do that, you're gonna see how that works. But anyway, that's where we are with SoFi in the short term. You're seeing bigger green candles. You see volume from the sellers going down, right? And then you see this opening gap right here, which is a good sign. It's a good bullish sign. Okay, so and right here it looks like pretty much like a neckline at this point, that if we break that, it's looking a little bit more bullish. Now, the positive, like what else do we see? We know that it's dead. We know that SoFi essentially is asleep, right? Rel, yep, absolutely. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna zoom out, okay? And then we might zoom back in, but let's zoom out. I'm gonna go to the week chart. If you go to this week chart, I already put the stuff in here. And what do you see right away on my chart? Right? It's the good old cup and handle, right? I don't think anybody's seen that or is talking about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like a cut and dry cup and handle to me. What do you think? Okay, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm still like a rookie at the game or a novice at the game. And there's people that's way better at this technical analysis than I am. So please provide your input and your insight in the comments. I don't take offense to anything. We're all here to learn. We're all just trying to gain clarity on this market that's not designed for us to win it, right? So we're all in this together. All right, so I drew up the cup and handle. Then I was like, okay, I know what a cup and handle is, right? It's a bullish pattern, right? But then I was like, okay, well, how do I know if a cup and handle is going to actually turn into a bullish move, right? So there's some things I didn't know. So like I started to guess. I was like, or ask around the Google or whatever. It's like, so how long does a cup and handle have to be, or is traditionally for it to be bullish? Or what's the ratio between the cup and the handle? Like, is that a thing that kind of dictates or determines the strength or the validity of a pattern? And apparently it is. So let me do this. Let me share this real quick. All right. So if you didn't know this, I asked AI, how long is the handle in the cup and handle? How long should it be? So in a cup and handle pattern, the handle should be no longer than 1/5 to 1/4 the length of the cup. Ideally, the handle should be no more than 33% of the size of the cup. The handle should also be downward slope channel, and the low of the handle should not be more than 12% below the handle's high. Okay? I'm glad I read that all out because I misinterpreted it at one point. So, what do we have here? We have the cup, we have the downward slope, we got the handle, right? And I didn't test this yet, but let's check it out. Let's check out the range. Actually, I can do it with my measure from the high to the bottom. Is that accurate? I don't know if that's 43%. Okay. That might be a little bit much because that, I mean, in a traditional sense, this looks normal, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's our traditional cup and handle, and that's by definition what it should be essentially. Now, I noticed a couple things. One, cup and handle means we're in a bullish position. We fell all the way down here, and then we reestablished support. Now we've been dancing on this line between around $6 and $7, between $6.38 and in the $7, $8 range since, what is this date? June 5th of 2023. It's a long time. We're a year into this and we have not moved as a stock, right? So when something's asleep in the stock market, something tends to break, right? It either breaks up and takes off or breaks down. The longer something is asleep, the bigger the pop, just so you know, in either direction. So I just want to give you all that heads up. Now, what I see here is what I noticed is that when I measured the volume from the start to the end of the cup, the volume was at 16.387 billion. Okay. Now, when I go ahead and I measure from the handle, which is 30 bars less than the cup, we're at 8.3 billion. If you do the math, we are at 20% increase in volume in the handle versus the entirety of the cup. That's huge. 20% value. You got a lot of people, a lot of retail, a lot of institution. There's a lot of back and forth trading in SOFI right here. Okay. What you also see, you've seen a big amount of green. For the most part, green is pretty much in control. Then you've seen red take over, and then they are slowly losing steam. But buyers are slowly, very slowly coming in. So we have this transition where the sellers are coming down and the buyers are coming up, but very slowly, very slowly. So we're waiting for that shift, we're waiting for that pop. But I wanted to point that out because you're probably not seeing that, or something, or maybe you have and you just don't speak to that stuff, or maybe whoever you're watching that covers SoFi isn't speaking to it. I don't know. Hopefully it helps somebody. Hopefully it sheds some light, and hopefully somebody that's watching this can actually elaborate on this a little bit more and dive deeper into what they see based on what I find, because I think we should be able to use each other's information in order to help clarify things. So if I didn't explain something clearly, maybe it's due to lack of knowledge, or just my, just lacking. I'm not familiar with speaking so much. I only have a handful of videos, so, but anyway, my brain is weird. I wrap my head around things a certain way. So maybe you don't catch it. Maybe you can, and you can translate it for other people. But if you can, more power to you. Make sure you share that link to anybody that's using this information in their videos. If it's you, great. If it's somebody else, great. Just let me know. Okay, so where we are. So one thing I want to point out, and might as well do it while we're here. Again, like I said, I was probably going to grab a few tools while we're on here that I haven't really touched yet. And let's look at volume. Okay, let's look at the volume profile. So let's do the anchored, and let's do the anchor to start. Let's do that from the handle. Okay, so as you can instantly see that this is our point of control. I don't know if you know much about volume, but I'll cover some of the basics probably as I talk. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But otherwise, there's a really good book that you can read. Regarding the volume profile, and I think I will say the link in the comment. I have it in my phone, but I forgot what the exact title of it was. I read it, and then I just kind of moved on, and now I just kind of study bits and pieces of it. So anyway, so as I zoom in, just looking at the anchor part. Now this anchor part is only representing, just remember, is representing the handle, from the handle till now for the volume profile for this. So right now, we're pretty much in like a D-shaped formation, which if you're looking at formations with the value profile, it's pretty much like a neutral position. Nobody's really winning or losing, right? I mean, you can probably say it's close to a B, but I don't see it. So it is what it is. Anyway, when I look at a volume profile, one thing I look at is nodes, low volume nodes, because low volume nodes typically represent key levels of support and resistance, right? Now, of course, you can go through and you can find the top of tops and draw your supports and resistance, but you have to understand though, when you look at SoFi, there's just so many spikes where they might cut through those supports and resistances, where it's really hard to kind of identify what's strong and what's not. Now, of course, if you know, if you're doing your TA, your technicals, to draw horizontal lines at a point where most of the points are touching, right? So, but I'm going to not focus on that, and I'm gonna focus on what the volume shows, because the volume pretty much tells you everything you need to know, right? So, interesting though. Seeing that it's like an L, but okay. But anyway, so if you don't know, this blue area right here is representing of the where the majority of the buying and selling is happening. This represents the 68% of the buys and the sales, split in half. So just think about it like a bell curve, and that's kind of what you see here. This blue area is that other percent, right, of where the volume is. So once you break through that, you're either going to find support above it, and you're going to start seeing more volume come in, where that starts to become the main level or main area, or it'll get rejected somewhere in that area, and then it shoots back down into where the buyers and sellers are more comfortable trading the stock. Okay, so like I said, right now I want to focus on the low volume nodes. The low volume nodes is pretty much these gaps, these divots in the volume profile. There's low volume nodes and there's high volume nodes. I'm sorry, I didn't think that this was going to be a little class or teaching moment, but hey, here we are. And of course, anybody that studies up on this, you're probably way more well versed in this than I am. So if I misspeak, which is possible, or if you think I probably should have shed more information on, then I mean, by all means, let me know. But this is not designed for me to go into that into too much depth. I'm just kind of explaining as I go for those that aren't really that familiar with what I'm talking about. Okay, again, sorry about my voice. So anyway, you got the low volume node here. Low volume, high volume nodes are these peaks. Low volume nodes are these little divots within the volume profile. So what I like to do, I like to go in here and figure out. Nope, I don't like that. I like to figure out. There it is. I'll do that. Should I go the other way? Typically I go left to right. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Let's see if I can edit this for it to expand to the left, because the more this stretches, like it's kind of like the more clarity you get. So I'm going to do that. All right. And then of course, again, this is for the handle alone, and then I'll stop and then go over, I guess, what the cup looks like, and then we can see how that relates. And maybe I'll just do that with the fix. We'll see. All right. So anyway, so that's one peak, right? Now, a lot of times I like to do little ones as well. It just kind of keeps me, just lets me know where I am as the chart's moving. But we don't need to do that with SoFi, because SoFi is all the way down here, and that is, well, $8. As you can see, right? $8 is a wall for SoFi. Hey, what do you know? Everybody should know that, but the volume doesn't lie. Look at that. I didn't even think about it, but it's at $8. And that's a big resistance area for SoFi. But anyway, I'll go into it. This right here This level is your point of control. Okay, so this point of control is where your buyers and sellers meet, and where they're pretty much both in agreement with where the price should be traded, right? So they're just exchanging dollars, right? So that's at 736. That's the median essentially right now for SoFi is $7.36. Essentially, you can see right here, there's long spikes up and down from this point, right? Because that's where the buyers and sellers, you're pretty much battling it out as far as who wants to take it, right? Does the supply outweigh the demand or vice versa? And that's what kind of slingshots it this way or this way. All right, so now we're going to get a little closer to where we are right now. Okay, so where we are with SoFi right now at this very instance, this little blue line right here is representative of, well, it is the volume area low. Okay, so that's essentially known as like a the floor, right? That's the floor support for for the volume profile. This is not quenching my thirst. I'm gonna need some water. But anyway, so yeah, so 686. That is your volume area low. Now notice if you look to the left, the short sellers, you see these long wicks. They're trying to keep people out of their positions, and it's very apparent. That's what all these wicks mean. They're just trying to keep everybody out of their position. And the moment that this broke right here, so many people probably got stopped out, right? They got stopped out of their calls, or stopped out of calls or their shares, because that's probably where you had your stop loss at. And of course, they take it to the next level. And where we at right there, around 640, right? 640. And that's the end of the volume profile. Now, this right here, I said 650 would be one of those areas I'd worry about. But right here is considered, oh, God dang it, a low volume node. Okay. So notice where that is, 656. It broke into the low volume node. See this? And then shot right back up. So I don't know if you guys know this much, but when you're trading, if you are trading options or futures or whatever, right? You buy into the nodes, right? So this is the best entry position for a bullish move, right? Is the bottom of the low volume node, if you know that this is a strong support, right? Where it's typically like a bounced area. So I would have had my my bid, contract right here in this area, probably right under here. So 649, 650, and then this goes to 643. So likely I'm the type of guy, I'll go a couple pips below, and so I'd probably go down like to 630, 640 before I would get stopped out. But anyway, I want you to notice that once it broke though, this volume area low, 686, it never lived under here. There was never a bar that opened below or lived clean below that level. For as long as that's the case, SoFi technically has legs. For as long as that's the case, it's just representative of SoFi being manipulated, and then the institutions, the short sellers, whoever, trying to trip people up, right? By living close to this edge. So where are we on SoFi? Right now, we're right here at 707. Okay. Now, the blue boxes that you see right there are my demand zones, right? And I'm gonna delete those so we can see a couple things better. But that's my demand zones. Okay. Now if I get rid of those, I don't know if you see what I see, but this little area right here, which is also the 695, in which was the neckline, is also, guess what? A low volume node, right? So we go here. Yep. Yep. Right here to here is considered a low volume node. And look what area that covers. I didn't even look at this yet. This is the first time looking at it. But this just goes to show your TA is on, your TA is on. When you know what's going on, you know what's going on, right? So anyway, what do we do with low volume nodes? We buy into the low volume nodes. You do what you want to do. I buy into low volume nodes. We are living. So back up, right? First of all, when we're below the POC, right, we're typically means that we are in a bearish position. Now we're on the D side, so yeah, we're in a bearish position. But mind you, we've already made the bearish move, right, and into the zone outside of the volume area low, and then bounce back in. So that tells me that we're making our way back up towards the POC to retest that. When will it happen? It could happen tomorrow. I don't know. But, you know, the economic news definitely plays a factor. But let's zoom in. Let me stop blabbering, right? So here we are at 606. We have this breakout zone. I forgot why that's a breakout zone. I got to double check my work, but I'm going to get rid of it for the breakout zone for when we were in that symmetrical triangle after that move up on the short term. We actually broke down. So breakout is up or down. Okay, so anyway, so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of whatever that is. Okay, so now what do we see? Again, every one of these little cut-ins are technically volume area, but low volume nodes, okay? So, and this is like a high volume node. Right now, we are trying to push over this high volume node of 606, which we have, which is bullish, right? I just want to point that out. So now we are looking at you gotta get steady hands here. All right, mess me up. All right, cool. All right. I want to get this accurate. Just so everybody's looking at the same thing. Okay, let me start from here. There we go. All right. First one, I'm going to just clone this one because we got another one, and then I'll talk about it. The second one, look, it's the same size. Perfect. Right. So, and then this one right here is now acting as a support. So I'm going to go ahead and change this right here to low volume node support, daily, hourly. Oop, nope. Where'd it go? Dang it. Let's edit undo. And my settings are all messed up. So we're just going to turn it green for now. Yeah, let's just do that. That works. All right. So this right here, this green box is now our low volume node, which is now at a support area. Okay. So if we cut into this, then I'm looking at it as a buying opportunity unless we break clean below it. And if that happens, then I'm looking for the retest of the volume area low of 686. write it down, take a picture, I don't know, whatever you want to do, but hopefully that's helping you. But anyway, so now where we are at 706, now our next level of resistance is going to be 710, right? See that? 710. And then, but the top, that's a level of resistance. So if you're playing to the downside, then you are looking to enter at the top of that, right? Which would be 712. It's not much of a level, right? We all know that SOFI doesn't move in big moves like that, unless it's like a major new catalyst, or they change the earnings expectations or whatever, right? But keep in mind that the thinner these are, the weaker they are. And just think of them as like, breaking boards, like on karate class, right? So if you're like a kid, you're like 5 years old, they're gonna give you these flimsy boards that, as an adult you can just do this and it breaks, right? That's kind of what these represent in most cases, right? For for stocks when you're looking at volume profile. So in theory, right, because you see this long white wick, this is shot right through it, right? It shot right through it, as you can see, and it stopped right at that volume. Well, that's a low no, but it's really not that big of a deal. It kind of stopped right before this value, this high volume node here. But anyway, so that's what we got to work with. We need to take this 712, find support there. Then we have a nice little trip up from there to 720. So technically, you could, if you're trading this, I don't know how the options look right now. Typically, they're not that great on the short term for SoFi. There's typically like a $5 swing, whatever. Not for the spread, but like just for the strike prices that they offer. But if it was good contracts, then you could, at support here or break here, you could then ride this up and then have your stop loss here, and then maybe either close out your position entirely or trim your position. And then most likely, if it were to come up to 720, it's probably going to retrace down to here about 716, and then before it shoots up or decides to come back down and retest the 712. Again, hopefully I'm speaking English to some of you. It is what it is. So I'm just going to keep going, right? And you guys can stop watching this anytime you want to, but I'm talking myself through it, and hopefully it's helping somebody. So anyway, that's barrier 1. There's barrier 2. And after barrier 2, because we already broke through the main barrier. This is huge. If we open above this, well, see, this is a weak chart. So now we're going to have to zoom in and see where we are. But if we open above this, that's a really, really good case for us, okay? And we just got to live above this, which is why the 695 was so important. But anyway, moving up. Once we break above the 722, if we can open above that, then we're going to go up and likely, well, we have this little node here of 734, which we've lived here before. And I'm just going to put that down just to see where we've landed. God dang it. Here we go. Let's make that red. Okay, because these are resistances as we go up. So you got to hit that. And then after the 734, 736, and then we hit our POC, point of control, at 739. And don't be surprised if we shoot past that point of control. Because it could happen, and we just go right to this this node here before we're rejected. If we do get rejected, which is what number? What level? 744. 744. Okay. So I'm pretty much showing you all of the resistances before we get to where we want to go. And I'm going to do one more. Just in case SoFi has some major spike. And people are trying to figure out, well, where we're going. Like I'm telling you exactly where we're going. So 770, 774. Okay, we're gonna take this all the way up to $8, essentially, right? There is a node right here at 785, and there's a little node here at 790. And I'm just gonna put that 790 there because that just sounds familiar. Let's space this out. God. Okay. All right. And let's just copy and go right here. All right. So the closer these walls are together, right? It's like the more dangerous that area is. It's like more than likely you're going to see a lot of chop, a lot of just maybe some consolidation, just a lot of trickery, right? So it has quite the barrier and like walls to go through before it breaks above this $8. So it's not just simple. This right here, from here to here, simple. This here to here, simple. Right? Once it breaks, it's gone. It's broken. Here, you got wall down, wall down, wall down. At any point, this can reverse for any given reason. So just be on the lookout for that. And then once we're past, I don't even want to go into it. So as you can see, $8.40. We're not there yet. Let's talk short term. All right. So I'm sorry, this is getting long. All of our volumes are in for the handle. Now, because of SOFI, likely it's just relevant for all of it. So let's zoom out and see what we see. Okay. Now, this handle is kind of in the way, so we're just going to go ahead and make this opacity so we can see. Okay. Let's change that down. Okay. So what do we see? What do we see here? So we see, I don't even know do we want to go back that far? I mean, we're looking at a week's time. So I guess what we can do, we can just focus on, I don't even know if I want to go into the cup. It's just too much. Volume area high, test it. Same volume area high in the cup as the handle. Oops, go back, undo. Yeah, so as you can see there, okay? When it fell, as you can see, when it fell underneath this low volume node, right? This big red candle, it fell underneath, it came back up, retested, right? At the top, that would have been your entry for a short, and look what happened, right? That's what happened. So now, then, good earnings, spiked all the way up. God, dang. Spiked all the way up. Okay. And then fell all the way down to the low volume node. Right there. Okay. So anyway, we're going to zoom into the today, or soon, closer to where we are right now. So where are we right now? Let's go into the day, because I'm tired of looking at the week. So in the past few days, let's look at that, because we need to look at this other stuff. Let's see here. Support. POC rejected. Shot through the POC. Hit. Got a morning star here. Hit that level of resistance at 768. Look right on the money. Look at that. Right on the money. Then fell down and then retested pretty much close to that 722, which is another low volume node, right? And then it shot back up. And then look at that on the dot. That's that level, one of those barriers I was telling you about. What's that? 790, right? 790. That's the trickery I'm talking about. You can even see it over here. That's the trickery I'm talking about. That's why this is like such a danger area, essentially. So got up here, and then it just gapped down like a lot. It fell, started at this volume area, this low volume node above the POC. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm talking about, because I'm just hovering my pen over, hoping that things are coming through right. Let's see here. I can't bring my... Anyway, so as you can see, and then shot under the POC, and then look where we went. We're right down to the which essentially would be the demand zone from what we had posted earlier, but another low volume node area, okay, which is a support. Then we shot underneath that, cleared that, and we pretty much got close to touching this right here, which in reality I probably should move this up, because yeah, that goes up a little bit more for reasons. Whatever. So yeah, that should be right here. Anyway, so then I'm just walking you through, and then just to figure out where we are, where we came from on the short term, where we are, and where we're going. Okay, so just bear with me. And this is my first time walking through it. I'm just doing it live, because I figured I'm not gonna do it twice, so might as well do it on the camera. So anyway, and of course, look, we shoot back above this volume area low, right? So what does this tell us? Once this fell underneath the volume area low, there's not a lot of trading that happened here. Like, this is low volume territory. That means that it just wasn't an attractive price, like it couldn't be sold anymore. Like the transactions of buyers and sellers kind of just dwindled. Like, nobody really cared. So it wasn't until demand increased that we retook that low volume, that volume area low. And then, as you can see, support, right? It spiked up. It got showed rejection at the 710, again right on the money with that low volume node. And then this opened high, went low, right? So again, another low volume node at 723, went all the way back down to retest the 686, and then look at this, just gap up. That's awesome, right? So just gap up here, and then we are again, they had a false breakout right here above that 723. So they fixed some people out just by going a little higher. Probably got a lot of buyers in, and it pulled them back down to reality to come retest that, which is like a demand zone now, essentially, but another low volume node area. And then again, another retest. Like, again, the levels are on point, right? And then down again to retest that demand area. And then here we go again. They try to psych some people out by bringing us down to about 693, like just under, which is pretty much, this is May 8th. So where's May 3rd? This is where Anthony Noto bought. He bought like right on this candle right here. So it came back into this, try to psych a couple more people out, because people were thinking, well, I guess we're going back down to 686, and if we're going to 686, where we're going from there, nobody knows. But technically, there should be a node here too at 680. Just know. Anyway. All right. So then now we're above again. We started up at 714. There was a false breakout above one of the nodes of 712, and then we fell down to retest the demand level right there. Okay, so again, we bounced and we're floating. Now, I know we all see that. So where are we going? That's the $1 million question. Well, I kind of already told you what the options are right now, what we need to do. You see the barriers You see the barriers we need to break in order to start to see some momentum and whatnot. So right now, let's go to more of technicals outside the volume profile. And let's see if I can do this. Okay. I'm trying to make this make sense. All right. So clearly we're on a downtrend, right? Well, downtrend, yep. We got the exact same peaks here, and then we drop down one. We have a lower low. Okay. Which is the end of our cup and handle, essentially. So, what happens from here? $1 million question. Now, this level right now where we're at is very important. It's very important for us to maintain strength right here. Because if we don't, and we start to see this thing arch down, and let's say we break 686 and we close underneath this level, we close underneath 695, then you're gonna pretty much, I'll show you what it looks like. Let's go to an arc. You're pretty much going to see kind of this type of a formation. And once this happens, which it already looks like we're kind of close to it, well, once this happens, then this is just a neckline that's ready to be broken, right? We don't want that. So, we have, I'm wrap this up pretty soon, okay? My bad. Where are you? Let's go path. All right, so we have a peak here. Peak. All right, so the down, and then we have our first break of this, right? So if we want to get kind of technical, we can say that this right here is the downtrend on the short-term basis, right? And we just broke it, right? We just broke it right here. So what can we expect? Well, we have a break in a downtrend. So either A, we come back for retest, right? Or B, we just shoot up. It's the only thing that can really happen. That's all I can see. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I'll zoom in one more time just so we can see what it looks like. Let's say like on an hour chart, which doesn't give us too much, but I mean, look at it. There's that. Oops. Here's that trend I just drew, right? I can just tighten it up now that I'm closer. We're in that downtrend, and then now we kind of broke out of it and we're arching up. We also, on the short term, are seeing higher highs and higher lows. So in reality, you see that? In reality, SOFI in the short term has now moved towards an uptrend, right? So we had this large drop down. Then we came up and kind of broke this neckline here and traded sideways. And we broke it again, right? It's broken. So this structure is not in a downtrend anymore. And then we look like we were in a downtrend, and then we broke out of it again. So I'm just saying, it's not looking too bad. Now, I only want to look at one more thing. And let's look at the VWAP from here. Here. We got two VWAPs now. Let's get rid of that one. So the VWAP more recently from our bottom is showing us now in a bullish position. When your VWAP is underneath your MA, right, and then your stock and the price of the stock or the bars are above those, and they're moving in the upward position, that's bullish. Okay. One more thing I want to try or check is the other MAs. Just so I can see better, I'm gonna get rid of the VWAP. Let's go here. Let's get rid of it. Okay, and let's bring those back, and then bring back the MA, which is there. All right. So what we want our yellow, blue, and green above the red. Okay, and so you know how I have these defined. Inputs, I have a 13, a 21, and a 55. Okay, so 13, what did I say? 21 and 55, right? So that's kind of what we got going on right now. And again, it's living above that. If all of this was underneath this 55 EMA, if it was below it, like this is bearish. This is bearish, but it's trying to break through, right? It's trying to break through. And then as the yellow, the EMA starts to cross up, right? As the SMA and then the EMA starts to cross up, then we're starting to look bullish. So again, guys, this is looking better than you think, even though everybody feels like SOFI is sleep, because it is sleep, but it's moving how I want it to, just not as fast as I want it to. But that's what I got for you. I didn't try to make this a lesson or a 56-minute long video. Holy crap, didn't even think I could talk that long. I definitely lost my voice again. But hey, please, if you appreciate this video, again, I don't make a lot of them, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, because if I drop a video, it's of relevance. It's not just air. Not to me at least, but maybe it is. I don't know, whatever. But please like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think of this video, if it's important to you, if I should do more deep dives like this. I'm held up in SOFI right now because it's kind of, I don't jump around stocks quite that much. That's just, I have other stocks that I'm in, but on this YouTube thing, I don't want to like start to go into too much, right? I just kind of want to be honed in. So once SOFI is doing what I wanted to do, I'm going to start like looking into other things and then talking about other things. I'll make another video pretty soon about where I am in my journey. This is already too long, but just know that I'm primarily trading futures, and I have a lot of options contracts on on SOFI. I think Disney. I'm in Tesla calls, and I think that's about it. And then of course futures. I got three accounts funded. I'm working on my fourth right now. Should have been done, but you know, your boy made some mistakes. They were known. I was trying to force it, but anyway, another story for another time. Anyway, this is Stocks for Real. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Take care. If I can get out of here.